Yeah, screen share is unchecked.
Testing. You want to mute or unmute?
I can't any.
Testing, testing.
Is everything working?
Hi, Devin.
Your audio is your sound on?
That works.
Can hear you, but no visual. Oh, thank you, Jenny.
Hi, Devin. Devin, can you say something?
Testing, testing, 1, 2, 3.
Can't hear you. Number 2 is they can.
Jennifer said it because.
You're fine because you're on hold.
Right. What are you trying to?
Trying to see if we can, but it's fine.
In here?
Well, we wouldn't need sound inside here.
All right.
Are you sure?
I'm holding.
Thank you, Jennifer. Sorry, we were doing a lot of troubleshooting in the room.
So we need to hear what people are saying.
I was typing in the chat a second ago. I could hear you a moment ago, but now I can't hear you. And so just wanted to update.
Got it. Thank you. We are about to do a test from the front of the room. So if you could let us know if you hear this, that would be great.
Are you ready?
Okay.
I'm on mute.
Yep.
I'm off mute. Now go try. Go try.
Speak up just a tiny bit.
Alicia Carr, GPSA Council. But like that's in progress.
I could hear Alicia well, whoever just spoke.
Why?
As they Zoom it together and put all these mics. And then online, they're gonna get a crazy echo and it's a keeping that for. We're gonna give air game to the speakers. We're gonna give we can't use the in-room speakers because they're not going to that mixer, so all that sound is getting picked up by this mics. We'll hear.
So we're not gonna use this at all.
We need something for people to be able to project in the room.
Yeah, so I could hear whoever was speaking last, and I can hear Devin clearly, but it it'll cut out for whoever's speaking, I think, further in the room. So if they could just, I guess maybe can speak a lot louder if you're in the front, because it will cut off unless you're like where Devin is, I believe.
Yeah, I'm ready. Look the same.
What did you send me earlier, Alicia?
It was a bunch of links.
Oh, for sponsorship.
Yeah,
Okay.
but I won't need to click through them. So maybe try using one of the PowerPoints.
Yes.
Can you hear me? Sweet.
Can the room hear me? The room cannot hear me currently. Are we? Got it. I'm going to leave. Are we getting any feedback? How's the sound online? Do you hear that? Do you hear that? It's a slight echo when people talk online. And then testing. Testing.
That's good. It's good. The microphone and client's phone.
Okay.
Microphone will speak.
You want to be
Okay.
Unmute.
Testing.
There's an echo because that had sound. You need to mute or
Yeah.
turn off the audio on your laptop.
I heard someone talk. I'm not doing on that right now. No, it's.
Yeah. Go ahead. And if you mute,
Everyone on, you turn off your sound.
and yeah, you need to turn off your audio.
This is unconnected. Testing. No.
Hello? Where's the sound?
Oh, here.
There it is. Maybe it just takes a minute.
Can you ask if it's echoing?
Do you guys hear an echo online? You guys hear me online at all? Testing. Testing.
No echo for.
Okay. They can't hear me.
They can,
Okay.
no echo, but yeah, okay.
So there's no echo. I'm online on YouTube. Now,
The clear begin.
do you want to mute my mic?
For what reason?
Mute it, then I'll hear it.
Can you hear me? I just saw the message in the chat.
This one today, but.
Yes, thank you so much, Jenny.
Okay,
Sorry. Agenda. All right, thank you everyone for joining us both in person as well as online. This is GPSA Council meeting 45-08. And I'll go ahead and call this meeting to order at 5:35 p.m. I'll move into a period of roll call. Our secretary is quite many thousand miles away, so I will go ahead and can fulfill that duty for her tonight. Starting with the executive board, Devin Lopez, I am here. Vice President Alicia Carr. Treasurer Leighton Balogun.
Present.
Secretary Laurentia Ponsu. I believe she was online.
Yes, here.
Thank you. I will go ahead and now call out each individual department or program, starting with Department of Accounting, Andrea Schafloke. You see Andrea online. For the Department of Economics, Prince Wiafe. No. For Department of Finance, Julia Chan. Department of Management, Entrepreneurship, and Technology, Chibuko Okoro, which I believe we have a proxy name on.
Yep, I'm here.
Thank you. MBA programs, Trey Curtis Brown is excused. Dental Medicine, Cole Dayton.
Here.
Thank you. Department of Counselor Education, School Psychology, and Human Services, Donovan Ross.
Here.
Department of Early Childhood, Multilingual, and Special Education, Jessica Alley.
Here.
Department of Educational Psychology, Leadership, and Higher Education, Lynn Lee. Let's see.
Yeah.
Department of Civil and Environmental Engineering and Construction, Adaremi Gabadgosi. Thank you. Department of Computer Science, Sabrina Wallace.
Here.
Thank you. School of Architecture, Gavin Silva.
Here.
Department of Art, Cameron Murray. Department of Theater, Nick Case.
Here.
Department of Hospitality Management, Megan Scholl.
Here.
Occupational Therapy Program, Stephanie Apodaca. Department of Health, Physics, and Diagnostic Sciences, Christine Haley.
Here.
Department of Kinesiology and Nutrition Sciences, Heather Tram.
Here.
Boyd School of Law, David Eldon.
Here.
Department of English, Lauren Cleve.
Here.
Department of Political Science, Bianca Martin de Oliveira. Thank you. Department of Psychology, Tala Soluoko.
Present here.
Department of Sociology, Christian Cazares. Christian Casarez. Department of World Languages and Cultures, Catherine Melvin.
Here.
Department of Psychiatry and Behavioral Health, Christy Correa Davis.
Here.
Medicine, Michael Carl.
Here. Sorry.
Nursing, Laura Chechel. Laura Chechel. Department of Environmental and Occupational Health, Salome Abduleka.
Here.
Department of Epidemiology and Biostatistics, Munasba Dulalam. Department of Healthcare Administration and Policy, Bertrand Roberson. Department of Social and Behavioral Health, Fox Rejon.
Here.
Department of Chemistry and Biochemistry, Jennifer Napolis.
Here.
Department of Geoscience, Sierra Ramsey.
Here.
School of Life Sciences, Declan West.
Here.
Department of Mathematical Sciences, Chinonsu Negbu.
Here.
Sorry. Department of Criminal Justice, Alicia Longoria.
Present.
Thank you. School of Public Policy and Leadership, Tyler De Silva. School of Social Work, Miranda Cameron.
Here.
Interdisciplinary graduate programs, master's certificates, masters and certificates in full. And last but not least, interdisciplinary graduate programs, doctoral, Katie Brickroll.
Here.
Thank you. We have established quorum. I will go ahead and now move into a period of public comment. Public comment will be taken during this agenda item. No action may be taken on a matter raised under this item until the matter is included on an agenda as an item on which action may be taken. Comments will be limited to 3 minutes per person. Persons making comment will be asked to begin by stating their name for the record and to spell their last name. The board chair may elect to allow additional public comment on a specific agenda item when that agenda item is being considered. In accordance with Attorney General Opinion Number 00-047, and as restated in the Attorney General's Open Meeting Law Manual, the chair may prohibit comment if the content of that comment is a topic that is not relevant to or within the authority of the body, or if the content is willfully disruptive of the meeting by being irrelevant, repetitious, slanderous, offensive, inflammatory, irrational, or amounting to personal attacks or interfering with the rights of other speakers. Do I have any public comment at this time? If you are in person, please make your way to the podium. Make sure you. All right, seeing and hearing no public comment, I will go ahead and move out of order. We have a DPS presentation from the Teaching and Learning Commons. So give us just one moment. If you'd like to make your way up, we will pull up the presentation.
Thank you.
There's
Thank
also
you.
a clicker up there if you need it. Press
I think the button at the top goes forward.
Okay.
Yeah, there we go. Remember the backwards?
Yeah,
There-
there's our
right
arrow,
back.
yeah.
Just make sure the light is on the microphone there.
Yeah, okay.
Thank you.
All right, well, first of all, I want to thank you for allowing us to come and speak with y'all this evening. I'll go ahead and introduce myself and then Stuart is going to cover the next slide. So I'm Beth Berry and I'm the Vice Provost for Teaching and Learning Innovation. And I came to UNLV in 2008 and in the College of Hospitality. I was a faculty member in the Recreation and Sport Management Department that was sadly closed during the Great Recession. So that transitioned into working in online education because I had a background, somewhat of a background in that. So anyways, long story short, I now am in 2023, I became the Vice Provost for Teaching and Learning Innovation, which means that I have the privilege of working with tremendously talented people in the Office of Online Education, which has now been rebranded as UNLV Online, as well as the Teaching and Learning Commons. And you can see on this slide, today I'm here as part of the role of supporting the Teaching and Learning Commons. And I'm not going to read the slide to you, you can read that, but I will give you some of a narrative background. So when I arrived at UNLV in 2008, UNLV was not yet a research intensive university. And there was talk that it was going to be one, and it was very exciting. And then the Great Recession hit, and you fast forward to we finally got that R1 status in 2018. And it was a very heavy lift, and everybody was super focused on that. And then we went through the pandemic, and the Office of Online Education provided lots of professional development for faculty who hadn't taught online. We have that already, we already have that professional development created, but it became apparent that, we have this office here that's helping online teaching. So as I talked to the provost, I would say, teaching is teaching, and you don't really have anybody supporting in-person teaching as much. There was a faculty center. So the faculty center was a deliberate choice that the university made. They had to decide from creating a faculty center or creating a teaching and learning center. And they chose faculty center because they were not yet a research intensive university, and the faculty center is more inclusive of, we're going to help faculty with research, we're going to help them with tenure and promotion, and we'll also help them with teaching. And hopefully all of them higher ed enough to know the truth of what I'm about to say is that when research is the focus, teaching kind of falls by the wayside. Support for teaching falls by the wayside. So after the pandemic, just saying to the provost the opportunity I get, that teaching, and now we're R1, and we need to elevate teaching because it feels like we're not giving it to consideration. And fortunately, the provost eventually agreed, and now here we have the Teaching and Learning Commons, and we have a kind of motto that we live by that the Teaching and Learning Commons does things with faculty, not to them or for them, unless the provost or president tells us, right? So there are some things that we do that don't come from the faculty, but everything else is something that we have a council, and Julia will go into that. But we have representatives from every college and school. We have your wonderful vice president is our GPSA representative right now. We will continue to always have a GPSA person on our council. We have a CSUN person on the council as well, and libraries, some ex officio. But so that is why we have a Teaching and Learning Commons. You can see the mission there. We really want to elevate teaching. Teaching is one of the most important things we do, and the president now, he was provost at the time, but the president now will say, I've heard him say it even as president, that teaching is the thing that funds this university. Yes, we have research, but if you think about what's the largest impact we have, it's through our teaching. And so the president believes in that, our provost believes in that, and we are here to include you in the process of co-creating this Teaching and Learning Commons. I'll turn to Julie. She'll talk about the specifics of why we're here.
Thank you. Thanks for having us. I'm Julie Cohen. I'm the Assistant Director for the Teaching and Learning Commons. And yeah, Beth just did a great job kind of introducing what we do, what the TLC does. And kind of one of our projects that we have started working on this year with our general counsel is kind of a teaching framework, right? And so the idea of this teaching framework, actually, I'll just go back to the last slide. I want to send it there we go. Yeah, so the reason sort of behind this idea of framework really is kind of the idea is to create kind of a common language, right? For it's the way in which we believe that teaching should be understood, right? To set some standards and guidelines and bars for teaching. So with this common language, right, on the one hand, this will really help GPSA as we design programming, right? Where are the needs? It helps determine that. But additionally, this is really important for faculty, right? Because it will help kind of establish some guidelines for hiring faculty. It also can become a set of guidelines that people might use to measure effective teaching, right? And you know, we in the TLC, this is kind of our work. We understand that teaching is not totally subjective, that there's a lot of evidence-based research that you can draw on to improve your teaching, all for the benefit, of course, of student learning. So the idea of the teaching framework, right, is to kind of provide this common language to help develop programming, but also to really kind of create a standard of what effective teaching looks like. So what we have developed are these, on the next slide, are these 5 teaching statements. These didn't come out of thin air. These actually came out of a process of literature review, as well as started with our general counsel. So our general counsel, which includes Alicia, it also includes at least one representative from every college. So there's faculty representative from every college. And so I've had this whole process, came up with these 5 statements. And now we're in the process of vetting these 5 statements. And it's really important to us that this is something that's not just kind of a top-down movement, but that has the support and insight from every unit on campus, which absolutely includes graduate students. So we started with the general counsel. We'll return to the general counsel at some point. We'll get to faculty, but we are now coming to you as graduate students to get your input, to see what you think about these statements. So we'd love for you to take that QR code. And because we were given a few minutes today, we'd love for you to do it now. Just it'll need to confirm for us that you're able to access the survey. It's really short. And basically what you're going to be asked to do is look at each one of these statements individually and answer 2 questions. The first question is this something that's important to you? Right? And the second question is this something you think is important to your instructors? Right? And that's a difficult one to ask, and I know every instructor is different, but we're asking about sort of your general feeling about this sentiment. Is this something that you think is shared, right, across your instructors? So student-centered is the first one, relational, reflective, and supportive. There's a statement that goes with each. You can read all of those, answer both questions for each. And then at the end, there's just kind of an open-ended text box there for you to type in any additional things. Is there something missing? Is there language in there that you want to see some revision or edits to? Any other ideas? We totally have space to add a 5th statement, right? So we've had actually quite a few suggestions for inclusive and transformative. Those are 2 ideas that are kind of being tossed around, but other ideas are great too. So we'll give you a few minutes to work on that. For everyone in the online space too, please go ahead and complete that survey. And if there's a way for you guys to distribute that among other graduate students, the more info we get, the better.
Anybody have any questions about the statements or what the next step will be? How foundational these statements end up becoming?
Yeah, my question is,
You might use a mic.
yeah, my question is, I think the statements I just read are very important ones. But how much impact or how much relationship do you have with faculty members themselves? Because for instance, say there is a faculty member I know what doesn't do well, for instance. I don't have the power of the head to force the person to do something. So do you have any form of influence, something?
Yeah, that's a wonderful question, and essentially, the Teaching and Learning Commons provides professional development for all faculty related to teaching. And so whether or not someone takes the opportunity to improve their teaching, that's a very interesting issue, right? First of all, I have to recognize they should improve. They have to have enough self-awareness, right? And you all have course evaluations that are now standardized. And so now that the course evaluations are standardized, I have had conversations with deans and we are working on materials. Deans have said, as they look at those course evaluations, and if they see faculty whose evaluations are, at least a standard deviation, like far outside the norm, as far as, having a bad impact on students, the student feedback is negative. They have asked us to develop materials so that the dean can mandate, you will take professional development the time your next annual evaluation comes around, or you will get unsatisfactory. And that will vary college by college, but there's at least one dean, and I think there are some others that are thinking about that. And so we try to, the other thing I would say for that is that the Teaching and Learning Commons, Julie is the assistant director. We have a faculty director. That was yeah, she's online, Melissa's online. And the role of the faculty director, Melissa is the undergraduate coordinator in mechanical engineering. She does other amazing things in engineering. She takes their senior design course. But she has taken on the role of the faculty director of the Teaching and Learning Commons as she gets a stipend, and I don't think she actually took her course release. But anyways, it's almost like a additional job so that she remains a faculty member and has colleagues. But the faculty director is a little bit like a department chair in that every 3 years it will rotate. And that is intentional because Melissa has engineering faculty and hopefully they'll get accustomed to, hey, there's a Teaching and Learning Commons, I have a colleague there. And then maybe next time it will be liberal arts. And then that person will bring their friend, right? And so slowly over time, everyone will be like, hey, we want to go to Teaching and Learning Commons. They are doing things with it, not at us, right? So that's a long way of answering your question. We can't force anyone, but we are trying to put in mechanisms that just kind of encourage and nudge and when possible, encourage meetings to actually force them. So.
And I would add to that too, and incentivize, right? I think there's lots of ways that we can think about incentivizing. And the other way I would answer your question, which, it's a great question, is that, in some ways we don't have like a North Star, we don't have the language that's out there. Lots of faculty come, they are hired because they're great researchers. They don't have teaching training, which is kind of the role of the TLC. So it's nice to kind of have just sort of some common language so that people understand when we talk about effective teaching, what that actually.
Yeah, you guys have the wonderful opportunity to use graduate academy, right? And it's a teaching certificate, and so you've got so much professional development available to you. Also, our offerings are often open to all graduate students. There's sometimes the faculty say, well, we don't want to look foolish in front of them, and so they want good sessions for themselves, which I don't quite understand, but it's fine. So you will get a graduate degree and have had an opportunity to have teaching training. Some universities don't provide that. My PhD program did embed that within the courses that I had to take as a doctoral student, but I have plenty of colleagues who have no idea, and yet here they are and they're teaching you. So we're trying to help catch those people in a way that doesn't shame or embarrass anyone. And, yeah. If you have ideas, but I would encourage you to take advantage of the opportunities you have, because it is true that there's not a lot of universities that provide graduate students teacher training.
If anyone has any questions online, please raise your hand and go to the chat. Otherwise, do you have any other questions in the room? Give them about 15 seconds to throw in questions in the chat. Right, thank you so much. One moment while I put this back to the agenda. Going now into item number 4, this is our consent agenda. I do have one minor notice to make. We do not have the minutes available ready from the November 13th meeting. So we will approve those at our next meeting in February. However, with the consent agenda, we do have some committee appointments from the past few months that have been waiting. So I'll go ahead and entertain a motion to approve item 4B, which is our appointment of committee members. Do I have a motion?
I'll motion to approve.
Thank you. Motion by Vice President Carr. Do I have a second on the motion? Thank you. Second by the representative from Mathematical Sciences. Is there any discussion on the appointment of committee members? This includes internal committees, the awards committee, Donovan Ross and Gavin Silva. External committees will include University Parking Committee is Trey Curtis Brown. The Intercollegiate Athletics Council will be Lynn Lee. University Ombuds will be Trey Curtis Brown. Graduate Research and Student Success will be Catherine Melvin. And then Graduate Student Research Awards will be Christine Haley. Do you have any discussion? No. All right. I'll go ahead and move into a vote. All of those in favor of approving our committee members, please say aye or yes.
Aye.
Or you can also type it into the chat. Thank you. Any opposed, please say nay or no. Do we have any abstentions? All right, passes. The motion carries unanimously. Thank you. Going now into our reports and recommendations. Starting with the executive board, I have just a couple of quick things to go over. As you might have all seen, I sent out my notes for the GPSA president earlier this week, essentially outlining all the different things that took place with the Board of Regents last week. For the sake of time, we have a lot to get through today, so I won't go through everything that happened, but long story short, with the tuition increase item, the board decided to move that to information only. So the 12% tuition and registration fee increase discussion will be for a possible vote by the board at their January 16th special meeting. Essentially what happened was the Business, Finance, and Facilities Committee received some budgets that were only projections. They did not include actuals. And there was some other, there was an op-ed published by the chancellor as well as the different institutional presidents aided in the publishing of that op-ed. And that very much frustrated the board because it seemed like they were going over the board's head. And they essentially made the case that we have no other option but to raise tuition and fees on our students. That's not necessarily the case. The students at the meeting, the student leaders at least at the meeting, asked the different institutional presidents to provide data on exactly what programs or how many programs and staff would need to be cut. Just something so that we can understand exactly what it would mean if we did not increase tuition at this time. So hopefully we should be getting that data fairly soon, and I will share that with you all once that becomes available. But again, if anyone would like to give public comment regarding tuition increases, that'll be at the January 16th meeting. And once the actual agenda for that is posted, I'll be sure to send that out to the student body. Aside from that, we do have our research forum planning that is underway. We have our call for abstract that has been sent out, and I included the link for that at the bottom of this agenda under the announcements. So if you would like to submit your abstract to present at our research forum on April 2026, please do that. The link is available on the agenda.
Yeah, that's not good.
That is all I really have for big picture things, though. The other updates that I had were in my notes from the president I sent out earlier this week, if you all have time to read through those. So I'll turn it over to Vice President Carr.
Forum abstracts are due January 11th. You can look for something.
Oh,
I have my own.
The budget spreadsheet.
yeah.
Yeah.
Good evening, everyone. Please can you share my slide on the budget summary?
Which email did you send that to? I don't think I received it. Slack. Oh, through Slack.
So why the slide will be called soon. So for GPSA financial FY25, FY26 analysis and reports. So from the budget from the state, the budgeted for FY25 was 396,531,110. While the actual for this year was is 459,000 million. So the GPSA budget itself, the financial position is stable and well managed. Because there is already expectations for the financial year 2026. And the consistent expenditure, which is tracking from FY25. So as of November 2025, 5 months into the financial year, we've for the financial years of GPSA July to June, that is for 12 months. So GPSA has collected 200,688.81 year-to-date revenue, including cash change fund. The cash use has been changed, the name has been changed right now to cash fund of $198.04. So activities which represents 39.9% of the projected annual revenue for the financial year 2026. So expenditure remain moderate, remaining a positive operational procedure within the association. So I will be providing a vertical analysis and a variance comparison for the year-to-date evaluation. So for FY26 overview, so the total FY expenditure that was projected, if you check the first sheet, the second sheet, you see FY26 budget. So the projected is 508,835.73. Expenditure category, personnel costs is 217,735.73, which is 42% of the total budget. Scholarship is 212,300, which is 41.7% of the total budget. General operation is 61,550, which is 12% of the budget. Travel, budgeted 3,000 for travel. External sponsorship, 14,250, which is 2.8% of the budget. Administrative overhead, you don't have anything for that. So the key insights simply is personnel costs and operational costs. Actually, the one that dominates the total expenditure category, so which is 4% of the total budget. So for FY26 revenue composition, we anticipate to receive 510,290.09 revenue. So which comprises of student fee, which is deducted $658,000. Change fund, projected is 2,667. So the percentages for the student fee is 19.5, for change fund 0.5. So we had a brought forward from FY25, which is 118, 162, which represents 23.2% of the total rate. So discretionary fund was 12,566, which is 3.5%. So basically, from inside from the revenues, we are going to be receiving more from student fee. And basically from student fee, we also had carryover, which strengthened the budgets. For last year, total expenditure was 433,711, which is, and which comprises of personnel cost 185,077, which represents 42.7%. Scholarship was 160,700, which is 37% of the total budgets. And the general operation was $70,403, which represents 16.2% of the total budget. Hosting was 4,500. So FY26 comparison is FY25 and FY26. So we have a revenue comparison to student fee for FY25 it was $460,180, while FY26 it is 502,658. So it's an increase of 42,478. 478, which represents 9.2% increase, percentage change. Change fund. Last year was 3,220, while this year is $2,667, which is a decrease of 552.58, which is a negative percentage of 17%. We had a carryover of 53 FY25, while FY26 is 118.62, which is a positive difference of 64.768, 121%, 121%, which is 121%. Sorry. Then year-to-date revenue versus budgets. So as of November, we've received $200,608, which includes change fund. So comparison basically is from the 5.2, we've received 39.9. So and why expenditure with comparison for FY25 and FY26, personnel 185,077, FY26 an increase to 217,736, which is 32,659 difference. Scholarship last year was 160,700, increased to 202,300, which is an increase of 1,600. And the general operation 70,434, came down to 61,550. Basically, for the financial year to date, we are solid, and GPSA has a positive net operating surplus of, when we look at the amount we've received as of for the financial year 2026, 200,000, and total amount we spent 140,119. We have a net of 60,569. If you add to add the opening balance of 72 for non-scholarship, so we will have an ending balance of 132,753. For scholarship itself, so basically the scholarship and research is a contract account, which simply means that this is an intra account, not necessarily that this is increasing on its own as a contract account. So opening balance is 52,653.24, while the transfer that has been done is 55,000. So if we take away expenses from it, we have 39,474.
So we've done 41.8% of the scholarship. So we have a closing balance of 68,178. So that is that for the financials. So last month, we also made mention of the difference that we have in our account. So we tabled it before Ways and Means Committee. So we had a deliberation that, okay, what's the way forward? And we've had a discussion with the IT team. So the promise on getting back and also providing the solution in that regard. So everything looks good right now. And also we're also looking at alternative automating this bubble because we have a few months like operates as the elected members. Thank you, everyone.
Yay. You give a kind of applause. Do you have any questions for the treasurer this time?
Can I borrow $1?
No, you may not borrow $1.
Yeah.
Sure. Go to the Ways and Means Committee. All right, I'll turn it over to Vice President Park. Oh, yes.
Thank you for the reporting. I just wanted to ask, is this projection, the reports we're giving us or the budget itself?
Yeah, this is the summary of the whole budget. You can see, yeah, as of November, as the report. Okay.
All right. Hello, everyone. Well, today I will be giving you a little bit of a summary of what we've been doing for the last 2 cycles for sponsorship, because I didn't get to give you our numbers last week. But once again, okay, cool. It might not be easily visible, but I'll talk through the numbers. So for our last cycle, we had 15 applications totaling in $27,526.84 in requests for funds. Of those 15, 10 applications were approved for funding, totaling in $15,963.96 of requests. And we were able to fund all of that as our budget allotment for the month was $19,188.13. So we had a leftover total of $3,224.17. For the upcoming cycle, which we're going through applications this month, there are 20 applications. They've requested $29,769.66. The budgeted allocation is not as large this month. However, we are actually doing pretty well for the month, so I might increase the allocation. For this month, we only have $17,959.65 allocated to this month. If necessary, so if we have more people who get approved than the amount of funding that we have in this pot, I might be able to use some of our funds, because right now we aren't even halfway through the amount of funding that we have allocated, and we are halfway through the year. So we have a little bit more extra that I might be able to pull and give to that month, especially since this month is actually bigger than typically. Usually we only have, like December through January are some of our slower months. So I will probably give a little bit more allocation to the next cycle, seeing as we didn't have as many applications as I was expecting for that cycle. So pretty much we are in good shape for sponsorship. There's of the $225,000 that we allocated to the program this year, we have $129,435.36 left over. And we have $124,435.36 without our incidental funds, which I keep there just in case we need them. So we are in pretty good shape. Otherwise, I also wanted to do, I think there's another link in there. I wanted to show you guys our updated rubric that I'm hoping that we're going to be starting to use next semester for the sponsorship program. The sponsorship committee has agreed to begin using this, so we're going to start using it next No, that's fine. Actually, probably, for the applications that are submitted in February, because I want to make sure that this is put online before, people are starting to submit their applications using the old rubric. It's not really that different. It's basically the same, but the wording is a little bit different so that it includes more activities than what we've had in the past. Also, the point structure is also a little bit different. So I want to get this online hopefully next month or maybe by the end of this month. And then we'll be using that for the rest of my term. And hopefully after that. The other thing that I had was that our SO funding will be opening again, hopefully in early February. So this is registered student organization funding. So that is first come, first serve. We only have $5,000 allocated to that for the next semester. So if you have a registered student organization that you want to get funded for, be sure to get your application in as soon as possible so you can secure funding. The operating policy for that will be up soon, also probably by the end of the month. And the website right now for the page for that for the registered student organization is not up to date. I think it says we allocate 14,000 for the year, and that's not quite correct. So it's just going to be 5,000 for the rest of the remainder of the year. And then I will make sure that we can get the submission portal open as well. And the other update I have is that the awards committee, or not the awards committee, but the awards, GPSA awards are now open. So you can submit an award for anybody who you believe deserves some recognition. So this could be a graduate student, staff member, or a faculty member. There are 5 different awards that you can choose from. So you can go through and look at the criteria for each award. And if there's anybody you know who fits those and you want to show some appreciation, please go ahead and submit award nomination for that. And that is all of my reports I have. And to submit an award, you can just go on the GPSA awards website. Oh, he's gonna put it in the chat. But that's all I have for today.
Thank you. Do we have any questions for Vice President Carr at this time? Again, if you're online, please put it into the chat or raise your hand. All right, seeing.
The awards portal closes on the 27th of February, by the way.
Thank you.
15th? Yeah. Oh, the 15th of February.
February 15th. All right, do we have any reports from Secretary Bonsu or online? Secretary Bonsu, if you have anything for us, just send it through email, please. If you have any updates. All right, going now into our President's Cabinet. Director of Engagement and Outreach, Ariana Gutierrez, do you have any updates for us at this time?
I do have an update. Here with the mic. Hello. Okay, so we have a concert coming up on February 26th, 2026, so next year. It's our grad appreciation night at the Windor Bistro. We're gonna have some, I don't know what we're gonna have, but we're gonna have some food, like some burger, like here. But we're gonna have some kind of food after. It'll be exciting. There'll be some world soloists that will be coming for the orchestra too. So it'll be really fun. And then there'll be like a little jazz trio or jazz quartet in the lobby as well for us. So just a little planning for us. You know, I came to the last one orchestra. I have the numbers somewhere. I can follow up on that, but I have that number somewhere. Yeah.
I remember it's like over 400 tickets were requested.
Yes. But I don't have like the exact number offhand, but I know there's like hundreds of tickets in close. Last year I think we broke like 1,200, so I'm hoping to do more this February. So invite your friends, exes, anyone you want to invite. Thanks.
Our Director of Legislative Affairs is not here. The Division of Legislative Affairs just had a very busy few weeks with the Board of Regents meeting, so everyone, please give them a round of applause for giving all the public comment on all. So they will have a nice break over the next few weeks. Going now into our Division of Operations, Attorney General Lee, do you have any updates for us?
Everyone have Slack. That's one of the biggest ones. If you don't have Slack on your phone, I will be sending an SOP out of how to use it. That will be basically the ins and out of how to turn on the notifications for everything GPSA. So that way you don't have to get like multiple group chats, multiple emails, etc., etc. It's a little bit better to look at than it is on like Google, GChat, and stuff like that. The other thing is, if you need help on how to use it on the computer, send me a message, either email or my number. I think almost everyone here has my number or some sort, or just let Devin know. So that way we can get you set up on your laptops if you're ever trying to use Slack on your computer and leave your phone away. The other big one is that we're working on dashboards. That's right. So imagine clicking one link and you have this is how I do my job. Basically, that's going to be updated and sent out, hopefully before we start the next semester. And then everyone would be able to just click one link and see everything we have. From if you're a treasurer, you'll see your budget. If you're anything from a part of the board and council, you'll see everything that should be on our website, right? But it's just in one spot and in one place. Makes things a lot simple, a lot easy for everything. And then the final one is that I'm helping with our amazing treasurer over here and doing automation. So we're going to try to automate things. So every time we get a report or anything like that, it just automatically updates in the sheet. One upload, you're set. Oh, and then this meeting went well. So thanks, Edge. W Edge. Yeah.
All right, and then do we have any updates from the historian? No updates. All right, do we have any questions for any members of the President's Cabinet? Some of the comments that were in the chat, Catherine asked, can we use Slack connected to our staff email instead of our student one? Business manager Sparcina replied that the university has a Slack enterprise account. It will eventually be rolled out to campus, but GPSA is in the early. Yeah, so right now we are currently using it just for executive board and cabinet, but we're hopefully we can transition it in the future so that committee members can be in the Slack and get easy access to announcements, things like that. Yep.
I just add a little more because GPSA doesn't Slack workspace at this time, and we are able to add more groups. So we could possibly use your staff emails if your student email. But we, like Devin mentioned, currently have rolled out the executive board and the cabinet. We are working on adding more of the committee members into Slack, and right now, since it's so new, we are able to start adding some council members. But I think kind of start doing this a little sort of per request. So if people are interested in joining the GPSA Slack channel, especially from council members, please reach out to us, and we'll start figuring out the best processes to do that and to communicate with these folks. But that is the space that we are working in, so we're happy to start utilizing it. We're kind of a test group right now for IT. It's going to get rolled out to more students. It's not rolled out to students yet, but eventually it will be. So we're kind of a petri dish for Slack at the moment. So if you want to join in, come on.
Great, and that actually takes us into the business managers reports.
All right, well, effects. All right, so do a few quick reports for everyone. We do have the Cap and Gout program, and John is out of the graduate commons space. And this fall, we did get a $10,000 in support from the graduate college last year to increase this program due to its popularity. It's basically a program where students can rent regalia, master's or doctoral, for the graduate major commencement ceremony, while using for the department ceremonies. But they can rent it for a $6 rental fee, and then when they bring everything back, they get $40 back. So it's $20 per program, essentially like the operating cost, right? Yes, we do. So for the fall, we had a record number of 92 requests supported, which means we do actually get sometimes more requests, and we have had people cancel, but at this very moment, 92 people are supported through this program just for fall 2025. So we were able to increase the inventory last year due to the increasement grant dollars. And hopefully this will happen in the spring, but I'm used to getting around 100 audits. I need to be a lot more this spring. There's everyone's aware of that program. It is available to everyone. Let's see. All right, so the research forum, we mentioned that for a little bit earlier. Yes, the research forum is moving. It's on Saturday, April 18th. If you got sponsorship funding, this is a stipulation of the sponsorship funding to participate in the research forum. Please submit your abstract, your artist statement, or I believe there's other versions for professional development project. Or if you don't know what to submit for your abstract, maybe you did a different type of project, please reach out to the GPSA UP or GPSA at UNLV.edu or research forum at UNLV.edu. And we can work with you and figure out what makes sense for your project, what makes sense to present. Or we can also turn it into a volunteer position if you get sponsorship money, that we have a way to fulfill that situation. We don't have a way to present. We absolutely use you as a volunteer at the forum and help staff the event. But at this very moment, we have 32 presentation abstracts submitted. And the abstract portal is closed on January 11th. And for everybody who gets sponsorship funding, about a month ago, you guys did get emails from GPSA. So do check your emails, look for those, and please reach out if there are questions. And please share that information with your departments because very few people can get funding. And if you didn't get funding, we look forward to this opportunity as a way for faculty students to get to present their research, present their work, showcase to the university, so the graduate students are doing this really large event. Do this a lot into this every single year, and we're happy to have you. And if you just want to volunteer, please reach out. Research on that. All right, so the next portion is graduate comments. So we do have a graduate comment space on the second floor of the library. If you haven't been over there, please visit it. And we are currently hiring in that space. So we are looking for student workers. If you are interested, I'll put my email in the chat. Feel free to reach out to me, but we are looking to hire student workers over winter break. We're starting probably around late January. And then finally, last but not least, we do have our elections. I know it seems like the 12 months goes by really fast for officer elections, but it's time to start talking about that right before. So please think about it. If you're interested in running for election at the first spots, president, vice president, treasurer, and secretary. The filing period opens early February. The propaganda line will get posted online, but it does open in early February for anyone who's interested. There will also be a call at the February meeting for people who joining the Elections Commission. These are it's usually about 3, maybe 4 members of council or the public from the constituency, from the body. You might be interested in joining the Elections Commission. If on the Elections Commission, you cannot run for a officer role. Actually, I think it's the one person which not political violence. I think I have to one person which committee. Or go to obviously elections commission, but I'm interested in the commission or actually running as an officer. Again, the filing period for that will open in February. What that means is candidates basically file in February, and then once the vetting process is complete, you find out who actually is going to be able to run because there's a number of stipulations to be eligible to run. You know, like you get run, so you know, little things like that. Every vetting period, and then the voting actually takes place in April. So if you guys have any questions about any of this, please feel free to reach out to me via email. I'll put my personal email on email into the chat.
All right, do we have any questions for business managers Christina at this time? If not, we'll go ahead and move it on to our GPSA faculty advisors. And I see Bill, you are right.
First, let me apologize for not being there. Normally, I'm the one that's in person, and you guys are all.
Peace. Yeah. Thanks, Edge. My bad. You're set. You're set, Bill.
Good. I've been sneezing and coughing all day. I don't think whatever I have needs to go to all of you. So I'm hiding. I just want to reemphasize the need for everybody who's got an interest in student fees not going up to go talk to the Board of Regents on January 16th or get them ahead of time. They're dealing with biased data, I think, and they need to hear from students what the real effect of this is. Somebody told the deans the other day that less than 30% of students would actually be affected by the fee increase. That everybody else had it, would have it covered, and it's only the small percentage of students, and I don't think that's true particularly. So we just need to get fired up about that. There was already going to be fee increases, right? There's the regions have their regular every year fee increase, and why this won't, well, we know why this won't work, but we need to do everything we can to not really destroy things. And that's my advice of the day.
Thank you. Do you have any questions for Dr. Robinson? All right, thank you. Going now into any committee reports, because our chair of the Ways and Means Committee is not here, I do have one very quick thing in her place. The Ways and Means Committee recently made some changes to their operating policy, as well as made a small amendment to the budget. So both of those items will be up for discussion and vote at our February council meeting. Is there any items for sponsorship besides the reports?
No.
No reports from sponsorship. Constitution and bylaws, we have a meeting that just got scheduled. I just sent out the agenda today for a meeting 1 week from today. So that will be taking place at 10 a.m. next Thursday, December 18th. And members of the public are all, as always, welcome to join through our live stream. It will be an online meeting only. All right, and then we have our awards commission or our awards committee that is will be convened fairly soon. Those awards nominations are on and ready for people to submit applications and nominations for that.
Oh, yeah, if you're part of the awards committee, expect an email next week.
All right, moving into any UNLV or campus-wide or NSHE committees. Is there anyone that sits on an external committee to GPSA who would like to make a report at this time? I received a couple by email that I will just go ahead and read into the record. From the Graduate Course Review Committee, there were a few new courses that were approved, including one with an MHA, courses in the following departments using the following codes: MHA 680, Experiential Learning; CSEC 736, Open Source Intelligence; a course code that is to be determined, but 706, Public Health and Action; and then MUS 715, Survey of Analytical Techniques are all approved. Some other courses include FIN 730X, Financial Technology and Applications; CME 658, Teaching about Native American and Indigenous Experiences in Education; OCT 760, Fieldwork IIE; OCT 789, Specialized Intervention in Occupational Therapy; and ME 624X, Modern Control Systems Design. That is from the Graduate Course Review Committee. From the Graduate Programs Committee, a new program has been established for a graduate micro-credential in applied political data analysis. Oh, sorry, that item was tabled at this time. The new program changes that have been approved: PhD in history, there was the removal of patient non-American minors, but updated to World Minor Colloquium. MA in history eliminated the MA subplan pending their department vote. EdD in educational leadership replaced independent study with internship. PhD and MS in civil environmental engineering had an addition of a new graduate course. PhD in curriculum and instruction, the addition of art education concentration. PhD in mathematical sciences has the removal of the GRE requirement for applications. Graduate certificate in cybersecurity relabeled a course as required and clarified minimum grade exceptions. And occupational therapy doctorate had course changes and updated minimum grade policy. I can put anyone in contact with the appropriate committee members on those committees if there are any questions. Other than that, are there any other updates from external committees? All right, going now into UNLV departments and units. Do we have anyone from the graduate college online?
Hi. I think I'm popping up on screen. If y'all can hear me. Hi, it's Valerie Burke. I'm the Assistant Dean for Graduate Student Services with the Graduate College. And there I am. Let's see. Okay, so just some quick announcements. We had Mastering the Moment yesterday and today. Huge turnout. If you were there, you saw tons of students came in person yesterday. It was last night. Actually, the timing worked out pretty good. It started at 6 o'clock. And then for those who couldn't come in person, we had a virtual option this afternoon. And so that event was something that we created to help master students just kind of be prepared for commencement, feel relaxed when they get there, know what to expect. They had great questions. And then we will do our traditional doctoral reception ceremony tomorrow, actually. And family, friends, faculty departments are all invited to that. And then commencement is on Tuesday. And then campus gets a little quieter. Just so y'all know, the grad college is still open. Campus is still open. I think an email went out yesterday or today that said, really the only days UNLV is closed is December 25th and January 1st. A lot of people who have leave will take it off during this time, so it will seem quieter and slower. But technically campus is open. So if anybody, has questions, they can still come in, call, email. Grad College is still open Monday through Friday, 8 to 5. Our Grad Commons is still open, same hours. I know, and Dante can back me up on this, that all scholarships already due, but I know that faculty still have, I think, until the 15th to submit letters of recommendation, because I know I owe a few. So I know that's in my inbox to get done by that deadline. And I think that's it. We usually pause our newsletter that we send every Monday morning while we're on break. So that won't start up again until January. So yeah, if you have any questions for me, just let me know, or you can put it in the chat. Thank you.
Thank you, Assistant Dean Berg. Do you have any questions for Val at this time? I actually had just one very quick thing to clarify with you, if that's all right. I believe GAs are on what's called B contracts, the 9 months. So that means that our the GA working dates go until December 19th, and then we are called back for any GA work starting January 12th. Is that correct?
Yes, I'm pulling up the calendar right now, but I just went over those dates with my GA. Yes, so Friday the 19th is the last day, and then y'all come back the week before school starts. So you said January 12th. Yep, that's correct.
Awesome. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Devin. Yes.
All right. Seeing and hearing no other questions, I'll go ahead and move into new business. Because new business has actionable items, I require a motion to open new business for discussion.
Item 7, new business.
Motion to open new business for discussion made by Vice President Carr. Is there a second on that motion? Thank you. Second from the representative from Mathematical Sciences. All those in favor of opening item 7 for discussion, please say aye.
Aye.
Or put it into the chat. Any opposed, say no or nay. Any abstentions? All right, we'll go now into item 7B. This will be just a very quick item following up on the presentation that we had with Deanna Marino Cantino from Student Life last month in November. Her and her office would like to work with a focus group of students specifically regarding housing. So I will open up a call for any members of the council who would like to join this housing focus group, or just so I can put together a list and send it over to Deanna. So I'll just leave it open for a few seconds in case anyone would like to put their name into the chat or volunteer in the room. You can get your name down. I would like to see at least 4 or 5 members so that Deanna has a good amount of data to work with. Thank you. Representative Civil Environmental. Thank you. Would anyone from the executive board or president's cabinet like to serve as well? Awesome. Sir, Alicia. Hugh. Say yes. Okay, that is 4 members. So the representatives from Civil Environmental Engineering as well as Political Science, and then Alicia Carr, QP. I will entertain a motion to approve these 4 members to be part of a housing focus group. Is there a motion?
Yeah. Responsible groups housing.
Thank you. Motion made by the representative from mathematical sciences to approve the representative from civil environmental engineering, as well as political science, as well as Vice President Lucia Carr and Attorney General Hugh Lee to serve on a housing focus group. Do I have a second on that motion? Members online, you are also allowed to make motions and second things if you all need some encouragement. All right, thank you. Second made by Treasurer Balaban. All those in favor of approving those 4 names for the housing focus group, please say aye or yes.
Aye.
Any opposed, say no or nay. Any abstentions? All right, thank you. Motion carries unanimously. Moving into item 7C. Actually, really quick, I will do another item that should take just a couple of seconds. So I'll move to item 7F. This is the appointment of communications and marketing director. We had a lot of turnover in our communications and marketing division this semester, just from unforeseen circumstances with planning and time constraints. But we do have someone who is nominated to be the new director in that division. So hopefully we can have her ready to start up and running next week. To really get our communications well done in the spring semester. And so that person is Trexie Joyce D. Dunham, who is currently a GA with the grad college in their Department of Communications and Marketing. And so we are hoping to use all of her expertise and resources to help get GPSA's message and marketing out there. Is there any discussion on this item? And if not, I will go ahead and entertain a motion to approve the nomination of Trexie Dunham for GPSA Director of Communications and Marketing. Motion made by Vice President Carr to approve Trexie Dunham as GPSA Director of Communications and Marketing. Is there a second on that motion? Thank you. Second from the representative from mathematical sciences. All those in favor of approving Trexie Dunham to be the GPSA Director of Communications and Marketing, please say yes or aye. Any opposed, please say no or nay. Any abstentions? If you would like to abstain, just simply say abstain, I think.
You think?
I don't know if there's an official word for it. There's yes or there's yes or nay, no or nay.
I'm just like, I don't want that.
I don't think
No, thanks.
All right, that motion.
Yeah, it is staying.
All right, that motion carries unanimously. Thank you. Moving back now to item 7C, this is resolution 45-05, reaffirming GPSA's commitment to diversity and the equitable treatment of all students. Give me just one moment while I pull up the resolution.
Good. You're good, Edge. You can mute it now.
All right. So this is Council Resolution 45-05. To give a little bit of context of why this resolution was brought forward. Essentially, earlier this semester, the university decided to take down some websites and resort and sorry. Oh, this. So some background information on this. The university earlier this semester removed some links and some public-facing resources for our undocumented students in particular. And in response to that, GPSA fielded a survey to our students to figure out exactly how students were feeling in response to this move. Overwhelmingly, students that responded to the survey said that they felt abandoned by the university. They felt that the university was using their identity as undocumented students in a positive light only when it was able to be a positive characteristic. And now that federally policy has changed and there's been sort of a shift in views of undocumented persons across this country. The university, in students' views, is sort of kowtowing to those to that ideology. And so this was the executive board's attempt to sort of rectify some of these concerns for students and ask the administration that if any further changes to resources available to vulnerable, marginalized, or otherwise undocumented populations, to first go to student governments, consult with student governments, because this was a move that was not done in consultation with us at all. It was something that was sort of just done by the administration, and then I found out later, and then we had to sort of react to it. So at the very end of this resolution, during the actual resolution portions of this, we request that the university solicit feedback from the GPSA and other student groups before any potential changes to the structure and content of offices devoted to supporting the diversity and equity pillars of UNLV's mission are made. I can also read this into the record before we take a vote. But yeah, that's essentially the background. There is another plank that I will highlight right here. It says the GPSA opposes the signing of a preferential funding compact. Some additional information on that. The federal government, the Department of Education, released a compact for funding in higher education that basically said that if universities change the way that they talk about sexuality and gender, if they change the way that they raise tuition, if they essentially do a lot of things that are ideologically in line with the federal government, then the university will be fine and still be able to have access to funds from the federal government. However, it's not very clear that if universities do not sign this, what would happen. It's not really clear what would happen. No university across the United States, as far as I'm aware, has signed that compact. And so I think it's a good thing that UNLV has remained neutral at best regarding this compact. So I will go ahead and open this up for any discussion. If anyone has any comments online that they would like to unmute for, please raise your hand, or you can throw them into the chat. Or of course, in person, please raise your hand and I'll recognize you. Do we have any questions online? Any discussion as well? Oh, yes, thank you, Dr. Robinson. Earlier this week, Faculty Senate also had a Sense of the Senate is what they call them, come up regarding specifically the preferential funding compact for universities. And so the Faculty Senate did adopt their Sense of the Senate, asking the admin to not sign the compact. Essentially what we have as well in our language with this resolution. All right, seeing none or hearing no debates, I will go ahead and open this up for a motion. I will entertain a motion to approve this resolution.
Alicia Longoria for the record. Motion to approve this resolution. Resolution 45-05.
Thank you. Motion made by the representative from Criminal Justice. Do I have a second on that motion? Thank you. The representative from Civil Environmental Engineering made the second. I'll go ahead and now go into a voice vote. All those in favor of approving this resolution 45-05, please signify by saying yes or aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, please signify by saying no or nay. Any abstentions, please note that either in chat or in person. All right, I see no no's in the chat, meaning that this motion carries unanimously. Thank you, everyone. For the sake of the record, I do have to read this resolution. I will skip over the middle part where we have a bunch of student quotes for just sake of time, but I will read this into the record. So this is resolution Council Resolution 45-05, a resolution reaffirming GPSA's commitment to diversity and the equitable treatment of all students. Introduced by the Executive Board of the GPSA and with the original co-sponsors from Council being Donovan Ross from Education, Bertrand Roberson from Public Health, Catherine Melvin from Liberal Arts, Trey Curtis Brown from Business, and Blanca Pena from Law. Whereas the Graduate Professional Student Association of the University of Nevada, Las Vegas represents all graduate professional students enrolled at UNLV. And whereas the GPSA Council is granted authority through the GPSA Constitution to make policy statements and adopt resolutions for the promotion of graduate professional student interests. And whereas universities across the United States have faced growing pressures to dismantle offices and programs which support diversity initiatives or offer resources to historically marginalized groups. And whereas UNLV has taken steps to restructure or deplatform resources designed to help marginalized groups, including resources for non-citizens and members of the LGBTQ+ community, without proper notice of how to maintain access to these resources. And whereas a survey of graduate professional students fielded during the month of October 2025 has shown that a super majority of respondents are extremely dissatisfied with the university's decision to remove these resources from the UNLV official UNLV website. And whereas the survey found that students feel abandoned, unwanted, and ultimately unsafe being on a campus that would willingly remove these resources to appease a federal government, which fundamentally disagrees with the scientific process and has assaulted individuals' right to attend higher education institutions. And skipping over all of these longer quotes, but these are available and for everyone to read. Thank you to everyone who did provide those quotes. They are very helpful and very informative for us as we were drafting this. But whereas UNLV is a diverse campus because that is who we are, and whereas capitulation to federal demands would create significant barriers for international students to begin or maintain enrollment in professional schooling, and whereas UNLV's mission is to provide accessibility and deal equitably with all student populations, including compassion and inclusion of marginalized groups, and whereas the GPSA supports the affirmation and continuation of services for non-citizen students, including undocumented students, such as the Undocumented Student Program and UNLV Immigration Clinic, and whereas assault on the rights of any population within the UNLV graduate professional student community is assault on the rights of all students. And whereas the hiding of resources will have both a chilling effect on their usage as well as a break from the promise UNLV makes to support its most vulnerable community members, then therefore be it resolved, the GPSA formally objects to a policy of appeasement which has resulted in the deplatforming and hiding of resources available to vulnerable groups. And be it further resolved, the GPSA opposes the signing of a preferential funding compact offered by the federal government to grant universities who silence student groups, remove offices devoted to supporting the mission of diversity and which censor the content of courses that address complex issues of gender and sexual identity. And be it further resolved, the GPSA reaffirms our commitment to diversity and equitability in the treatment of all students as a core principle of UNLV. And be it further resolved, the GPSA urges the university to stand firm in its commitment to support all students regardless of citizenship, race, ethnicity, social identity, class, or any other category. Therefore, be it finally resolved that the GPSA requests the university administration to solicit feedback from the GPSA and other student groups before any potential changes to the structure and content of offices devoted to supporting the diversity and equity pillars of UNLV's mission are made. This resolution is approved this 11th day of December 2025. Thank you.
Yeah.
All right, going now into item 7D. Actually, item 7D. We have two different bylaws revisions that we originally were going to discuss last month, but we had to push to this meeting. So this first one is Article 5 of the GPSA bylaws, which originally was titled just broadly GPSA sponsorship. In the supporting materials that I sent out with the agenda, you can see all of the different changes that were made. So here is the original Article 5. The original Article 5 GPSA sponsorship. One second, let me make this a little more readable. There was a lot of outdated information in here. We originally said that there were only 4 funding cycles per year. That's no longer the case. These were the original dates: September, November, March, and June 15th. Essentially, it was a quarter system before, but we made it much more streamlined to where you can apply monthly, as our Vice President had mentioned earlier. And so essentially, this was the recommendation that was sent to Council from our Constitution and Bylaws Committee was to just simplify and consolidate all the language that we have here. That's Article 5. So in this document that I also sent out to Council a few weeks ago, maybe about a couple months ago, anything in red was language that was originally in the bylaws but has since been struck out. Anything in blue is brand new language. Anything in black with no strikeout, no coloring, is just original language being kept the same. So as you can see, we renamed this bylaws from GPSA sponsorship to GPSA programs. We're going to slowly add in different programs to this bylaw, to this Article 5 bylaw, as we start to make very concrete policies about what programs we have with the GPSA. Because currently there's not a lot, it's mostly just in operating policies, and nothing in the bylaws mentions the actual operating policies. So that's another change that we made. We mentioned that sponsorship program, for any information regarding the sponsorship program, students should consult the operating policy for that program rather than the actual bylaws, because the bylaws are much harder to change and the operating policy can be more responsive to student needs. We also removed some old language that was either not inclusive of different departments and programs, especially ones that are not research intensive or research focused. But because the sponsorship program has since been able to adapt to the different academic needs of our students. So without getting too into the details and going over every single modification, I hope everyone did have some time to read through this and make any notes or questions or know any comments that they had. So I'll go ahead and open this up for discussion or any debate if there is any. If you are online and you would like to say anything, please put it into the chat or raise your hand and we can have someone. Original, submitted by to appeal it. That's not. All right, so if there is no discussion or debate on this, I will go ahead and entertain a motion to approve the changes as submitted by the Constitution and Bylaws Committee regarding Article 5, originally GPSA programs, now renamed to GPSA, originally GPSA sponsorship, now renamed to GPSA programs. Is there a motion?
Motions approved the nominations made by the Budgetary Committee.
Thank you. Motion made in the room by the representative from Mathematical Sciences to approve as written the revisions from the Constitution and Bylaws Committee. Is there a second on that motion?
Seconded by Elizabeth.
Thank you. Second made by Vice President Carn. Is there any debate on this item before we go to a vote?
Anyone online need to state you ignore or have to read through these documents? Can you see the screen share all right?
Seeing and hearing no debate, I will go ahead and move into a vote. All those in favor of approving the amended language for bylaws Article 5, please signify by saying yes or yay.
Aye.
Sorry. I or yes. Sorry, that's my fault.
Yeah.
Any opposed, please. Any opposed, please signify by saying no or nay. That's what I was thinking. Any abstentions, please say I abstain. All right, thank you. That motion carries unanimously. Going now into bylaws revision for item 7E. This is in relation to Article 8, which is our grievances and removal procedures. Similar to what we just did with Article 5. There were some concerns with the language that we currently have regarding our grievance process on essentially how the election process for members to be appointed to the committee were very outdated. So essentially one of the big things was that originally our bylaws called for a paper ballot only for grievance committees. And as all of our members online might know, you do not have access to a paper ballot online. So this change is essentially to make it more inclusive and allow people online to vote in these grievance committee appointments. That was the change made in this area that I'm highlighting right now. One other thing that we did also change was it wasn't very clear how people would be appointed to the committee or essentially how that vote would be counted. So in order to consolidate the nomination of our of any possible nominees for the grievance committee, we decided to say that the council would be made aware of any possible grievance committee formation votes at least 5 business days prior to the scheduled appointment vote. During that time, members of the council would be able to self-nominate for the committee. And the first 5 names to self-nominate for the committee would be included on a single slate that would be voted on by the council. So essentially all 5 members at the same time would be given a yes or no vote by the council. And that would just help streamline the process and not make it so that we had to do 5 different roll call votes for 5 different members. So this essentially is just helping to clarify exactly how this process is set up. We also included some language that would allow the committee to remove members if there is a clear conflict of interest. Originally, it was not clear within our language on how members could be removed if there was a conflict of interest, but they decided not to remove themselves from the situation. And so the last 2 bullets that we have here are new language. 1, the committee shall have the power to remove a voting member if all other voting members vote in the affirmative for the subject's removal. We wanted to put a unanimous requirement on this vote so that it wasn't just, the majority of the committee deciding that they didn't like someone and kick them off. So we figured that if we went with a unanimous requirement from the rest of the committee, that would help mitigate any potential quote unquote bullying, for lack of a better term. And then in the event that both the GPSA president and vice president are charged with a grievance, a representative of the GPSA Council shall be elected as the 6th non-voting member and chair of the committee and shall carry out all duties otherwise assigned to the GPSA vice president under Article 8 of the GPSA bylaws. If you read through the full Article 8, you'll also notice that the GPSA vice president is by default required to chair the committee. And so we were thinking about what would happen if there's a situation where the vice president is charged. And so earlier in these revisions, we also say that the president would take over the roles or take over the duties that are assigned to the vice president. And then we thought, oh, well, what if both of them are being charged or grievances being filed against them? And so we gave that last extra option to nominate a 6th member directly from council rather than having someone from the executive board sit on that committee. So I know these are quite extensive revisions. We luckily have not been, we have not needed to impanel a grievance committee as far as my time with GPSA, but we know that things are going to eventually happen, that a grievance committee will be required at some point. So this is just basically making sure that GPSA is able to respond to those needs should that arise in the future. So yeah, if there's any discussion on this item, I'll go ahead and open it up. If there's any debate questions, please let us know before we open it, before we consider our motion. All right. Seeing and hearing no discussion or debate, I will entertain a motion to approve the recommendations to amend Article 8 of the bylaws by the Constitution and Bylaws Committee. Is there a motion?
I motion to approve the recommendation made by the bylaw committee to approve on the Article 8 grievances and removal procedure.
Thank you. Motion to approve revisions from the Constitution and Bylaws Committee regarding Article 8 made by the representative from Mathematical Sciences. Do I have a second on that motion? Thank you. The representative from Civil Environmental Engineering has seconded that motion. All those, I'll go and move into a period of voting. All those in favor, please say yes or aye.
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 No nay.
If you are opposed to this motion, please say no or nay. Any abstentions, please note that. All right, thank you. That motion also carried unanimously. We did item 7F earlier. And so the last item that I have for everyone, for the last major item that I have is a discussion regarding the election procedures for representatives. one thing that I've sort of discovered in my conversations with other student presidents across the state the past week, or even just really the past semester, is that the way that GPSA is currently structured with our council, it is not going to be sustainable going forward. Essentially the very high turnover rate of the executive board, of the council members themselves, a lot of information and knowledge is lost. And I mean, everyone pretty much on council is, this isn't your job, and it shouldn't be your job to be council representatives. But one thing that the rest of our counterparts across the state have been doing is consolidating sort of the amount of seats that they have available to be elected. So for instance, I believe CSUN, the undergraduate student government here, has about 25 seats that are proportional across the different colleges and schools that offer undergraduate programs. Our sister organization, GSA up in Reno, they also have about 30 representatives, and those are also proportional across college and school. And so before the Constitution and Bylaws Committee meets next week to sort of have more serious discussions about revisions to the way that we appoint and elect representatives, I just wanted to bring this here in case anyone had any thoughts. And some initial reforms that I'm thinking of would be a reduction in the total number of representatives down to about the 30 range, as well as moving away from the equal representation of programs and towards a proportional representation of colleges and schools, proportional based upon the enrollment of students within that college rather than the number of programs. So yeah, those are just some initial thoughts we have. I'm also working with one of the faculty members in my department, political science, to think of the best ways to structure an electoral system regarding this. I don't want to brag or toot my own horn, but I completed a comprehensive exam on electoral systems. And so this is something that's been brewing on my mind, and I just want to be able to help make our election process much more easy and transparent to students so that they can understand necessarily or better understand what's going on with their student government. So yeah, those are some initial thoughts I have. This is for information only. So I'll just go ahead and open up for a few minutes in case anyone has any thoughts, questions, concerns. If you're online, please put them into the chat or raise your hand, or if you're in person, just let us know.
And I just want to be clear, do you mean you're thinking of bringing on the number of persons in the council? The intention to reduce the number of persons in the council?
Yes, so the some initial ideas that I have would be to reduce the total number of representatives away from, like, I believe we have 52 seats that can be appointed, down to around the 25 to 30 range. That'll allow us to both increase the amount of stipends that our representatives get, and then also be able to manage expectations regarding how frequently the council meets. Our counterpart with the undergraduate student government, they meet about twice a month for 5 hours each time. So that's a pretty common theme with other organizations across the state. They usually meet at least twice and at least for a few hours every single time. And so I think that if we were to reduce the number of representatives, increase our stipends, we would be able to just say, hey, you know, we're expecting a little bit more out of you, or a little bit more effort in regards to the amount of times that you would be called for a council meeting or something like that.
Okay, I'm asking because I don't know if you checked the impact this is going to make on reaching out to departments directly. Because as it stands now, right, if I go back, I update my department on what we discussed here pretty much by at least forwarding the minutes to everyone in my department. So I don't know how it is going to be if there is one person for the entire College of Sciences, for example, presenting the entire College of Sciences, and they would have to reach out to all of the grad students in, say, 5 departments. I don't know how that is going to be, but I think it's something you should put into consideration. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you for that. One idea certainly that we can consider is giving proportional seats by college. So let's say the College of Sciences, let's say, gets 6 seats apportioned to them. We could, within the College of Sciences, say that certain seats represent different programs, just based upon the enrollment within those programs. So we would still have pretty clear lines of who's reporting to who, essentially. But yeah, we can definitely consider that. Yes, and then as business managers, Christina put into the chat, the council currently has 52 seats, one for every single program that offers either a graduate professional program, or department, or unit, I believe also. We count units.
It's like department.
Okay. departments that offer either a graduate or professional degree. This was probably very helpful when GPSA was first started, when we had like a handful, maybe 10 programs. But as the university has grown and we've gotten much more research heavy, I think it's probably time that we sort of hone in the expectations of what the student government should be doing. Just because, yeah, I'm very afraid of what would happen if we keep having high turnover in future years. I don't know if necessarily people would be able to respond to the needs of the state at the time. Michael, I see your hand is raised.
I guess, have you thought about how this might affect professional schools? Because
Yes.
we make up a very small proportion comparatively.
Yeah, so there's a couple of options to work around that. There's some initial or early conversations I had was to provide professional schools a direct seat on the executive board, whether that's just an advisory or an actual voting capacity. We could make sure that professional schools are represented there directly. But we could also just make sure that we apportion the amount of seats based upon, say, the amount of students in the lowest enrollment college, times that by, or divide that by 2, and then we can put that as like the minimum number of representatives that we get. But yeah, there's ways to work around that. I heard from some faculty as well that there are concerns about some programs becoming less represented. But one of the problems that we do also have right now is that some programs have not had representatives appointed for like years. There's some that have not had a representative for as long as I've been with GPSA for the past 4 years. And so while we try to work with their departments and graduate coordinators to get people appointed, sometimes they're not very responsive, and those students are ultimately left without representation on our council. I hope that answered the question.
Okay, it did. Thank you.
We also just like some context with the council. So in 2021, 2022, we used to meet on Mondays at 2 p.m. and there were 7 seats that were unable to meet on Mondays at 2 p.m., which is why we actually meet on Thursdays at 5:30 p.m. This is the only time frame where every seat is capable of sending someone to council. That's why actually we meet at this time. Originally, that time clearly 7 seats were permanently vacant. So there are some advantages to making a smaller number. There's also that year that we changed the seating or the time to Thursdays at 5:30, that's 2022. And we did have 100% seats filled at that time. So it is possible. But then there's other follow-up questions of parking code to share which of their departments, what work is being done. How is that managed? How is it overseen? So there are some questions. So that I'm not here in the space, but both you guys discussed that.
I mean, we do have like GPSA does Alicia card for the record. Because we do supply listservs for people who are full representatives, so we can include any of the departments on those listservs that you are sending out information through. So if you were the rep for like 3 departments within your school, or whatever college you're in, then you'd be able to have the emails of everybody in those 3 departments.
Yeah, and then to address some of the questions in the chat from Lauren, our smaller departments, typically those without current representatives. As far as I know from our current list, I think it's sort of a mix. There's some programs that are quite large that don't have representatives, and there's a few smaller ones that also don't. So it does sort of depend. I think it's more the culture within that individual department. And unfortunately, some departments have a culture of not communicating to their students, and as a result, we do not get representatives appointed to council. And then for Catherine's ditto for world languages and culture is very small group at the ground level. Yeah, so we can definitely have much more in-depth conversations about how to get around the problem of smaller departments. Yeah, if anyone has any thoughts on sort of how to work around that, or sort of like what we would want to see a minimum number be for the amount of seats allocated to a college, we can definitely discuss that. Maybe have some type of formula based upon the minimum number of programs or minimum number of departments within the college, something like that. But yeah, this is still a very early conversation, so I encourage anyone to reach out to myself, members of the Constitution and Bylaws Committee, which are Attorney General Hugh, as well as historian Baylor Akavan. We will be meeting starting next week to go over some of the final parts of our Constitution. This is the last big question that we have to tackle with. And then once we finally get through the election process for representatives, then we can finalize our Constitution and send it over to the UNLV General Council to have their final approval. And then it gets sent over to the council before we vote.
Actually, a question for Kevin as political scientist or him to expert in electoral systems. I'm actually doing so. The groups that are small, let's say we have some that, especially with the connect small, some of these like for example, how many years have less than 10 grad students? At the moment, and other groups. I don't know. Some of them have 70 students in them. So I mean, when it comes to the change, you're very fortunate, but right now I guess we're more of a Senate, which is ironic that Susan calls there's a Senate, but really it's more of a House model, or more of a Senate model. What would you guys in those regards? Because we're kind of in a full.
Yeah, so my from a political science perspective, one of the current problems that we have right now is that there's an over-representation of programs that are smaller. So we definitely have a much larger say from programs that are small within UNLV. If we were to just consolidate it by college, we would still make sure that those smaller departments still have representation, and they would still be able to vote for a college-wide representative. There's ways we can work around that with the actual electoral formula and electoral system. There's something called single transferable vote that's in the model of the Irish electoral system. It essentially says that there's a very low threshold for amount of votes that someone needs to be to win a single seat. And then once that person wins, the rest of their votes are distributed out to the remaining candidates. So there are ways for departments to still get someone specifically from their department onto the council. But I think I just personally think it would be a little bit better to have programs or departments elect representatives across their entire college. That way it can encourage more interdisciplinary thinking, and then also collaboration when it comes to state legislative processes with NSHE or even with UNLV. Do you have any other questions on this item?
I'm actually for a reduction, or are we doing this because we've seen how other governments do their structuring?
Yeah, so the sort of big reason that I wanted to bring this up is because just conversations that I had with other governments across the state. At any time that I mentioned that we had 52 council members, and then on top of that, that the executive board is essentially the leadership of the legislative body. Every single person that I've talked to said, how is that possible? How are you still even functioning as an organization? So from an outside perspective, it seems like it's not possible that we should be operating the way that we are. And I think that just going into the future, if there's more programs that are added, and with even higher turnover in the amount of students or amount of representatives that would change year across year, there's a lot of like training and resources that have to be spent on getting everyone up to speed on that. Whereas if we were to reduce the number of council representatives, we could then expect that there would be a bit more longevity in the amount of time that they stay with the council, and that there would be more, a bit more professionalism, for lack of a better term, with all of our operations. All right, any other last questions or comments? As I mentioned, the Constitution and Bylaws Committee will be meeting and discussing this next week at 10 a.m. So if anyone has any thoughts, questions or concerns regarding that, please reach out to my email, gpsapresident@unlv.edu. You're welcome to submit public comment to that email, or also reach out to me directly to get any recommendations or concerns that you have over me. But that was information only, so there's no action to be taken on that right now. Going now into item 7H. This is our call for committee members. We appointed some committee members at the beginning of our meeting today. However, this is the time for anyone who would like to self-nominate for a committee, and we can appoint you right now if you have not yet been appointed to a committee. If you're online and you would like to self-nominate, please just throw it into the chat and we can get that logged. All right, any committee nominations in the room?
Or if you want to be associate director of the business sponsored funding, you could also do that. You let me know, plus it comes with some funding as well, associate director.
They also very much get to learn the insights on the sponsorship program.
All right, last call for any committee nominations. Okay, moving into item 7I, this is the call for new business items. These are items for consideration at future meetings, may be suggested. Are there any new business items from the council? All right, I'll go ahead and close out item 7 or new business and move into item 8, our announcements, which is information only. First, I want to say happy holidays to everyone. As we go into winter break, I hope that you all enjoy our much needed winter break. This is a very long semester, and I look forward to welcoming everyone back in January. The Lead Library Grad Commons open house for the spring semester will be January 20th, 2026. Myself, as well as most of the executive board and present cabinet will likely be there. Come say hi. We usually have free snacks, free drinks, coffee, stuff like that. And that'll, yeah, free swag. Our swag will be available. The research forum abstract submission portal is also live. The link is available on the agenda if anyone needs that. And then finally, the GPSA Awards nomination portal is also live with the link available on the agenda as well. Lastly, council representatives, just make sure that if you have not yet, to please fill out our council registration form. The link is on the agenda. This is our official record of all of our members who are appointed to council. So whenever we go back and double check that people are in attendance and they're on committee, stuff like that, we do double check it with that registration form. So please do that as soon as possible if you have not done so. Other than that, I think we have.
Reminder that the vote, just a quick reminder for the folks online as well. The council representatives, there is $100 scholarship with the council seat. Those scholarships we go back to events, following meetings that were official or actually that happened. So essentially, we basically and more interested in all the movie things, but yeah, process of money we just get with the scholarship last year. We should hope to see scholarships post lunch.
All right. Going to item 9, this is public comment. Do we have any public comment at this time in accordance with the stipulations mentioned earlier?
I'll go to podium.
Yeah.
I just want to leave for the record. My public comment is I missed the Game Awards just to be here, but I just honestly want to say thank you. I honestly wouldn't want to be anywhere else other than with you guys here. And I've got to know everyone here, and I want to say congratulations on this semester. College is hard though. It's very hard, and how you guys are doing all this on top of that, it's kind of crazy. I'm also not a, what do you call it, astronomy type person, but I am someone that believes in like the Lunar New Year stuff. So just wanted to quickly say, so this year is the year of the rat, and I don't know what hardships everyone's been through, but that is the point. Oh, sorry, this year's the year of the snake. Yeah, astrology, whatever, same thing. But to me, to say this is that if you guys have ever dealt with anything bad, that is because of the year of the snake. And the metaphor of this, that you deal and you're shredding everything that's holding you back, and you're letting it go. You're transforming into your new skin, to a new body, to a new way of life. So just want to say congrats for everyone for this semester for getting through that. And as we get into the year of the horse, which is next year, everything's gonna feel a lot faster. And I want everyone to know you guys all got this, and next month it's gonna be awesome. Thanks again for everything.
All right, thank you. Do I have any other public comment this time?
Today is Kristen's birthday. Everyone say happy birthday to her.
Birthday.
All right, I'll go ahead and adjourn this meeting at 7:28 p.m. Thank you.
Bye.
Get my swag on.
Oh my God, I've heard this song so long.
Everyone can grab seconds.
Oh,
Yeah.
There's not a lot of meat left, so.
Thanks,
That was the
Ariana,
best
for the
part.
food. Thank you.
Yeah. Rose color. I laughed so hard when it was coming my mouth. It's like, ew.
What did you say? I like it.
What?
What did you say?
I was like, ew, I laughed so hard. Did you get it? Or did you not get it?
I get it, but like.
I was like, good. I was like covered my mouth. I was like, stop laughing.
Understand why he says so. Like, it's just so out of pocket.
He's definitely the youngest.
The youngest?
I think he's gotta be. There's no way.
Why do you say that?
Just cause like, I feel like the youngest tends to be like more free.
Yeah, but he's always been a free spirit like that.
The time you're the youngest, you're like, here's a care and then it's like, whatever, doing.
So he's interesting because I feel like when he's serious, he's so serious.
Yeah.
You know, like you'll talk to him and he's just like in the zone.
Yeah.
But then as soon as he steps out, he's in. Right. We went to your house the other day. We were walking around. There's children. There's a playground. We were at Town Square already. And you know, they have like the big old playground in the middle. So yeah, we were thinking like.
We need to go to the Sonic restaurant.
Oh, Brea?
No. It's like owned by this family who's like from Italy.
Really?
Like I don't think they employ anyone. I know there's some people, but most people there are like actually Italian people.
They want it authentic.
Yeah, like it's very, like we're pronouncing stuff very Italian accent. Oh my gosh, my other phone.
Well, no.
Thank you for reminding me. Oh, that was when I got there. I don't know who that is.
Free charger.
If someone left.